So because it is taqdeer, we're going to say what? As you mentioned, bahru. Either Bismillah aktub. Right? Bismillah aktub. Which is محذوف يقدر متأخرا ليفيد الحصر. يقدر متأخرا. So you said Bismillah aktub. It came when? After saying Bismillah. Alright? أستعين بالله في هذه الرسالة وهذه الكتابة هذه الخطابة. Right? I'm seeking the aid of Allah, I'm seeking the assistance of Allah in what I'm about to write. Bismillah abda'u, or abda'u bismillah. I begin in the name of Allah, or Bismillah abda'u. In the name of Allah, I begin. According to Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, he says to make it totally restricted that only in the name of Allah you're seeking this aid, or with Allah you're seeking this aid, then make that which is mahdhuf mutaakhiran, right? Or no, mutaakhiran, that which is after saying Bismillah. Tayyib? Although it can be mentioned in the beginning. Wallah, Bismillah, Allah in the tasmiyah or the basmala afwan. Allah علم على الذات المقدسة ومعناه ذو الألوهية والعبودية على خلقه أجمعين. Very important point here. Ta'rif, or the mentioning of the definition of the meaning of the name Allah. Right? It's a proper name. It's a proper name for the divine deity that deserves the right to be worshipped and has the haqq that nothing else has to be worshipped. He possesses al-uluhiyyah. Belongs to him al-ubudiyyah. Ala khalqihi ajma'een. Above all of his creation. Underline that, Bahr. Make sure you memorize that. Underline that in your sharh. And the Shaykh, he says, ذو الألوهية والعبودية على خلقه أجمعين. Make sure you memorize that. Make sure you memorize that. And it is derived from alaha yu'la al-uluhiyyata. Right? Or aluha. Or uliha yu'la aluha. Like ubida yu'bad ibada. Or abida ya'budu ibadatan. So one can say aliha ya'luhu ilahatan. Or one can say uliha yu'lahu aluha bima'na ubida yu'badu ibadatan. So we have what? The fi'l al-madi, the mudari' and the masdar. طيب فعل الماضي ألها يعلو مضارع إله إلهة إيش مصدر. But here Shaykh, he says ألوها, right? From أولها يؤله ألوها عبد يعبد عبادة. فالله إله بمعنى معلو أي معبود. So Allah Ta'ala, he is the ilah. Ilah with what meaning? Ilah with the meaning of ma'lu, with the meaning of the one who is deified. He is the deity with the meaning of the one who is deified. طيب? And he is with the meaning of ma'bud, the object of one's servitude and worship. The object of one's servitude and worship. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim ismani karimani min asma'ihi al-husna, which we will get to inshallah ta'ala in our short series after Salatul Isha. These two names, these two noble names, min asma'il al-husna, from the perfect names of Allah Ta'ala, dalani ala ittisafihi ta'ala bil-rahmah ala ma yaliqu bi jalalihi. And what they give indication to is giving Allah Ta'ala the description of what? Rahmah. Giving him the description of Rahmah. And that which is befitting of his majesty. فالرحمن ذو الرحمة العامة لجميع المخلوقات والرحيم ذو الرحمة الخاصة بالمؤمنين. فالرحمن ذو الرحمة العامة. We say Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Jamal. The name Ar-Rahman is the one who possesses what? General, encompassing mercy. Unrestricted. Tayyib? His mercy that encompasses everything. Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahim, Dhur Rahmah. Also Dhur Rahmah. ولكن ذو الرحمة الخاصة بالمؤمنين. But the one who possesses a specific, exclusive quality of mercy that is only given to the people of Iman. Only given to the people of Iman. وَكَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا. And he is Rahiman for the people of Iman. طيب. So I'm beginning with Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This is something that is what? Following the example of the Quran and the Sunnah. As the Messenger of Allah ﷺ began his writings with Basmala. And the Basmala is something that you find in before every surah. Ma'ada, Surah Al-Bara'ah. Right? Surah Al-Bara'ah, Surah Al-Tawbah. طيب. Sheikh Abdul Aziz Al-Rajihi, he says, فهذه الرسالة يعني على عقيدة الواسطية للإمام العلامة شيخ الإسلام أحمد بن عبد الحليم بن عبد السلام بن تيمية الحراني رحمة الله عليه. هي رسالة عظيمة. This risala is a very major, tremendous risala. قد جمعت على اختصارها معتقد أهل السنة والجماعة. This is a risala that within it contains, and he has combined within it, even though it is very short, it is summarized, the belief system of the people of the Sunnah and those who are united upon the truth. He says, وَقَدْ بَيَّنَ فِيهَا رَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ مذهب أهل السنة والجماعة في أسماء الدين وفي أسماء الأحكام وبين أصول مذهب أهل السنة والجماعة وبين مذاهب المتحدثين عن أهل السنة والجماعة. He says, he explains the madhab of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah concerning the asma of the deen. What do you mean by asma ad-deen? What does he mean by asma ad-deen? By explaining the asma of the deen, the names of the deen. What does he mean by this? By explaining al-Islam wal-Iman wal-Ihsan. طيب أسماء الدين. وفي أسماء الأحكام, also the asma of al-Ahkam. What does he mean by the asma of al-Ahkam? Muslim, mu'min, kafir, fasiq. Asma al-Ahkam. Right? These rulings that are given or placed upon an individual based upon what? What the individual is. If he's a Muslim, then there are particular ahkam that are upon him. Mu'min, ahkam upon him. Kafir, ahkam upon him. Fasiq, ahkam upon him. Mubtadi', ahkam upon him. Mushrik, ahkam upon him. Mulhid, right? وبين أصول مذهب أهل السنة والجماعة, and he also explains in this risala the usul of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, the foundational principles of the madhab of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And he also explains the madhahib المتحدثين عن أهل السنة والجماعة. المتحدثين عن أهل السنة والجماعة. And the madhab are those who speak ill of أهل السنة والجماعة. Right? سواء كان ذلك في أسماء الدين أو في الأحكام أو في الصحابة أو غير ذلك. And that is whether this is dealing with the asma of the deen, or ahkam, or our aqidah concerning the sahaba, or other than that. ومما قرره فيها أن أهل السنة والجماعة هم الطائفة المنصورة الباقية إلى قيام الساعة. And that which he establishes in this risala is that أهل السنة والجماعة هم الطائفة المنصورة الباقية إلى قيام الساعة. That Ahlul Sunnah, they are the aided group that will remain upon this aqidah and being aided by Allah into the establishment of the hour. وهذه الرسالة أصلها جواب لسؤال وجه إلى شيخ الإسلام رحمه الله تعالى من بلدة واسط في العراق. And of course, as we mentioned, this is from a question that was directed towards Shaykh al-Islam from the land or the town of Wasit in the place of Iraq. وَلِذَلِكَ سُمِّيَتْ بِالْوَاسِطِيَّةِ. And this is how it began to be known as al-Wasitiyyah. وَقَدْ كَتَبَهَا بَعْدَ الْعَصْرِ فِي قَعْدَةٍ وَاحِدَةٍ. And he wrote this after Salat al-Asr in one sitting. One sitting. And once we get into the Risala, you will see all of these ayat, all of these nusus, the way that the Shaykh, he did something what is known as Hashdul Adillah. Yani he brings proof after proof after proof. And it's good when we read the shuruh, the various explanations, because they break these different istidlal of the Shaykh down in portions so that you can follow. Because when you read the matan itself, he begins, and after he begins to mention the ayat of the Quran, there is no fasl between these ayat to tell you that this is the belief of the rahmah of Allah, this is the belief of the irada of Allah, this is the belief of the wajh of Allah, this is the belief of the intiqam of Allah, this is the belief of the sakhat or the ghadab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the belief of the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the belief of the shin of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of these things, he just keep on mentioning verse after verse after verse after verse without actually placing a title there and say this is the verse that gives indication to the name. You understand what I'm saying? But when you read the shuruh or you read the explanations and those other books that they'll break it down in that way so that you'll be able to follow and know this is what he's talking about. Fasl. Dalil wajhillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then the Shaykh, he goes on, and we mentioned Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, after mentioning the name of Allah and the two names or starting in the name of Allah and mentioning Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah alladhi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa din al-haq liyudhhirahu ala ad-din kulli wa kafa billahi shahida. He praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one whom he sent his messenger with the huda. He sent him with the huda, and we're not going to translate these words because we're going to take them from the explanation. Wa din al-haq, and the deen that is haq, liyudhhirahu ala ad-din kulli, so that it may become triumphant, it may become the uppermost, highest, above, and superior over any other deen. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. And sufficient enough is Allah Ta'ala as a shaheed. Let's take this point here. Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he says, افتتح هذه الرسالة الجليلة بهذه الخطبة المشتملة على حمد الله والشهادتين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله تأسيا بالرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في أحاديثه وخطبه. He says he began this risala, Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, with this introduction by praising Allah Ta'ala, or this introduction that contains the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the two shahadas and the salat was salam upon his messenger, imitating the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam as he did in his various speeches, in his various sermons. وعملا بقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم كل أمر ذي بال لا يبدأ فيه بحمد الله فهو أقطع. And in acting according to the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every affair that is began and it is not began in it the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فهو أقطع, يعني ممنوع البركة, يعني has no barakah in it. It is something that is deprived of blessings. رواه أبو داود وغيره. And there's also been discussion of authenticity of this particular riwayah here. ويروى ببسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومعنى أقطع أي معدوم البركة. That's when I say ممنوع معدوم. The meaning of أقطع, that it is no barakah in that. No barakah in that. وقوله الحمد لله الألف واللام للاستغراق أي جميع المحامد لله, that all of the praise belongs to Allah, and the alif and lam here is what is known in the Arabic language as al-istighraq. Al-istighraq, meaning that all of the praise, everything of praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And no one shares in the praise along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Ahmadullah wa ahmadak wa ahmaduk. I praise Allah and I praise you too also. No. Jameel alhamd lillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Milkan wa istihqaqan. Meaning that Allah ta'ala, He deserves. It belongs to Him, this hamd. And this is how we understand certain translations. That's why we say the praise belongs to Allah. The praise is due to Allah. Why? Understanding this is alif and lam, istihqaqan or milkan or lil istighraq. طيب. والحمد لغة الثناء بالصفات الجميلة والأفعال الحسنة. Hamd, linguistically, it is to continuously mention someone with the beautiful characteristics that they possess and the good qualities and actions that they do. This is what hamd is. طيب? This is what hamd is. وعرفا, and by way of a customary usage, it is an action that derives from it تعظيم المنعم بسبب كونه منعما وهو ضد الذم. It is exalting and raising to a high level the mun'am, the one who bestows favors upon someone. He praises him for the favors, alaykum salam, for the favors that he bestows upon that individual. Why? Because he is what? Mun'iman. He's one who gives. He is one who favors. He's the one who bestows. And it is the opposite of them. It is the opposite of blame. We know this in our language. Praise is the opposite of what? Blame. Even though in Arabic, the same root letters make up both words. Hamd and madh. Same root. Same three letters. Right? Hamd, ha, mim, dal is hamd. Madh is what? Mim, dal, ha. Hamd is praise. Madh is praise. Madh is praise. And hamd is praise, right? Two as well. I said them. And them is what? Blame. Right? Hamd, praise. Madh is praise. Them is what? Blame. Right? But hamd belongs to who? And madah can be given to who? Creation. Right? Madahahu. Right? He praised him. He spoke about him in a good light. You see? الذي أرسل رسوله subhanahu. So Allah Ta'ala is being praised here upon the numerous blessings that cannot be calculated. Why? Because of what ni'mah? لا أرسل رسوله الحمد لله الذي أرسل رسوله. This praise belongs to the one who did what? Allah, the one who did what? Why are we praising him here? For sending his messenger. The ultimate ni'mah of sending the messenger. Meaning he sent the messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So he's being praised for that. Because this is a ni'mah. He's the mun'im. طيب. He sent his messenger Muhammadan sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa rasul lughatan. So the messenger lughatan in the language, what does it mean? Man bu'itha bi risalatin. One who was sent with what? A message. So we said this is linguistically, right? Bu'itha bi risalatin. One who has been dispatched with a message to deliver. Wa shar'an huwa insanun dhakarun uhiya ilayhi bi shar'in wa umira bi tablighihi. We're going to stop here. We're going to take this ta'rif istilahan. الرسول لغة من بعث برسالة. طيب, that's clear. One who has been sent and dispatched to deliver a message. شرعا, legislatively, istilahan. Let's look at this definition. Definition is something that is what? Very important to look at each and every word. Huwa. Right? Its definition, its meaning. He is insanun, number one. Put number one right there. You write it in your book. Insanun. Rasul, number one, insanun. Wa kharaja min dhalik. What? Jinn. Huh? Wa kharaja min dhalik. Jinn. What is excluded from that is what? Jinn. He said here, huwa insan. Not other than insan, right? Huwa insanun. Legislatively, right? Istilahan, meaning one who is bringing the risala from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the creation. Linguistically, Rasul, man bu'itha bil risala. Anyone who has been dispatched with a message. You can be a Rasul, someone else can be a Rasul. Rasulul Rasul, in some al-hadith. Za'ama rasuluka, as it comes, the person comes to the Messenger of Allah, he said, your messenger claimed, who came to us with da'wah, that your deen is that you said this and this and that. Right? So it referred in this hadith as someone other than the Messenger of Allah as being what? Rasul. Linguistically. Man bu'itha bi risalatin. Prophet sent someone out with what? The message of Islam, give da'wah, he is what? Rasulul Rasul. He is the messenger of the messenger alayhi salatu wassalam. Wa salawatullahi wa salamuhu wa barakatuhu alayhi. But shar'an, huwa insanun, number one. So that does what? That excludes what? Jinn. Huh? That excludes what? Al-malaika. That excludes the angels. Right? Of what? Being a messenger to what? Mankind, to deliver the revelation of Allah to mankind. We're not talking about Jibreel being sent to give the wahi to the Messenger of Allah. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Shar'an, the one who is being sent to deliver, it's been revealed to him the revelation, and he's given it to the people, human beings. As we know, there were no messengers Allah Ta'ala did not send the angels to dwell amongst the human beings to be prophets and messengers for them. Because they're created from a totally different species, and it would be difficult for the people to do what? Imitate and live like them. Messengers from what? People, human beings, eat, sleep, drink, marry, divorce, live, die. Right? Get sick, be well. Everything. So, shar'an huwa insanun. As we said, and what is excluded from that, and this is how you have to read. This is how you have to read. And this is how you refute the shubuhat of different individuals who have shubuhat and bring falsehood or try to bring falsehood to the religion or outside of the religion that try to have or present shubuhat of the deen or the religion of Allah Ta'ala to people. So look at this ta'rif. Don't just take the ta'rif and sound on such and such. Look in deep into it and see what it also excludes. Whenever you're reading a definition legislatively, always look at the definition, see what it affirms, and then you yourself, or by way of a teacher, or by way of a scholar, or if you can, extract that which it negates. So if we say huwa insanun, then it negates what? If it's a human being, then it negates what? Anything other than a human being. The messengers of Allah were nothing but what? Human beings. Look at the next one. Dhakarun, male. Wa kharaja min dhalik, untha, female. There were no messengers to mankind that were females. Sah, Jamal? No messengers that were females. So we have two. Insanun, human, which is excluded from that what? Non-human. Dhakarun, male. What is excluded from that what? Female. Uhiya ilayhi. And he was given wahi, revelation, divine inspiration and revelation by the wasita of Angel Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam, or in specific situations, وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا, or as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Musa directly, and the Messenger of Allah, Allah ta'ala spoke to Musa directly, alayhi salatu wasalam, and Allah ta'ala spoke directly to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu in the seven heavens. But in general, uhiya ilayhi, he's been given, Angel Jibril comes to them and gives them what? Wahi. Uhiya ilayhi. What is excluded from that? Anyone who claims to be a messenger and he has not been given any wahi. Uhiya ilayhi. The messenger has to be someone who has been divinely inspired, or the revelation has come to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the wasita or the intermediary of Angel Jibril. Be shar'in, with a legislation, right? With a legislation, wa umira bi tablighihi, and he has been commanded to relay that revelation, relay that legislation. Tayyib. Wa kharaja min bi shar'in, he's been given revelation of a legislation. Tayyib. Excluded from that is those who what? Receive wahi, but they didn't receive wahi of what? A shar, a new shar, a new legislation. Tayyib? As what? A prophet. Those who were given what? Wahi. The prophets given wahi, but are they always given a new shar? No. Sometimes, many of them were sent to do what? They were given wahi, but to stay upon what? The same legislation of the prophet before them and the messenger before them. As Musa was given the Torah and that legislation, and there were what? More other prophets that came after him. Not to do what? Not to exceed the Torah, but they were given revelation. Tayyib. Wa umira bi tablighihi, and commanded to do what? To relay it. What is excluded from that is what? Those who were not commanded to relay it, like who? Prophets. Right? So this is a very important definition to look at with regards to understanding Rasul. Right? Understanding Rasul. This is something that can also be used as a tool to
prophet and Nabi.
Exactly, as well as to be used as a tool of some of the people who claim to be prophets, some of the people who have claimed to be prophets, some of the people who claim to follow people who came after the Messenger of Allah claiming to be prophets or messengers. And they come up with these philosophical definitions and terms and justifications of why they look at this person or deem this person to be a prophet and a messenger, when you tell them, no, there's going to be a prophet and messenger, no prophet after Muhammad, so. And they ascribe themselves to Islam, the nation of kufr, and these types of people. Well, no, brother, he was a messenger because it says that every nation had a messenger sent to them amongst their peoples. Yeah, subhanAllah. They don't understand. So then you sit down and you break it down to them. Well, let me explain to you from the Arabic language, from the Quran that you claim to take from, what is the understanding of a messenger according to the legislation of Islam. Huwa insanun dhakarun. He is a human being. Okay? He is a male. He's not a female. Tayyib. What's next? Uhiya ilayhi. He's been given wahi, which was the man that you claim to follow, given any wahi whatsoever. The angel Jibril come and give him anything. La. What is his legislation that he's come with? There's no legislation. All right? There's no legislation whatsoever that's there. It's contradictions and foolishness. وَأُمِرَ بِتَبْلِيغِهِ أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ. What did he send his messenger with? Al-Huda. What is Al-Huda? We normally translate it as what? Guidance. But what is it? It is Al-Ilmu Nafi'. It is Al-Ilmu Nafi'. وهو كل ما جاء به النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من الإخبارات الصادقة والأوامر والنواهي والسائر الشرائع النافعة. It is Al-Ilmu Nafi', Al-Huda. Let's take this definition as well. Al-Ilmu Nafi', if it is Al-Ilm Al-Nafi', if it's Al-Huda is Al-Ilm, وخرج من ذلك إيش؟ جهل. If Al-Huda is Al-Ilm, then what is excluded from that is what? Al-Jahl. Jahl cannot be considered to be what? Hidayah or Huda. And Nafi', beneficial. So let's say something is based upon some ilm, but it's not beneficial. Can it be considered to be Huda? La. Al-ilmu nafi'. Beneficial knowledge. Well, beneficial knowledge, without any type of restriction, absolutely, is كل ما جاء به النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Every single thing that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with is considered to be al-huda. Wa khayru hadi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa khayru huda Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? كل ما جاء به النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Everything the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with is considered to be what? Al-huda. And al-huda is what? Al-ilmu nafi'. Min al-ikhbarat as-sadiqa. From amongst those true things that he informed us about, things that took place in the past that we didn't see and we didn't live amongst, things that will take place in the future that we may have experienced, or some before us may have experienced, or people after us may experience, things of the unseen that we don't see, that we don't know, right? And it's knowledge and its affairs with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Al-ikhbarat as-sadiqa wal-awamir wal-nawahi, the commands and the prohibitions, was-sa'ir al-shara'i an-nafi', and the rest of all of those beneficial things that we have in our legislation. All the rest of those beneficial things that we have in our legislation. Wal-huda naw'an. We're going to stop here, inshallah. Huda is of two types. An-naw' al-awwal, the first type, huda bima'na ad-dilala wal-bayan. Huda bima'na ad-dilala wal-bayan. You did number those from that ta'rif of Rasul, right? Bahru, you numbered them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 issues connected to the ta'rif of Rasul. Al-Huda, how many issues connected to it? 1, 2, no. 1, 2, if you wanted to add it like that, no, you can say to ilm النافع ومن الإخبارات الصادقة والأوامر والنواهي وسائر الشرائع النافعة. طيب, so you can add all of those. النوع الأول of the first type of al-huda, of huda. Huda with the meaning of ad-dilala wal-bayan. Huda with the meaning of what we translated to be what? Guidance. Ad-dilala wal-bayan. Giving a guidance, a directive, directions, showing a direction in which way to go, clarifying and making something clear, explaining something. Alright? And from that is the statement of Allah Ta'ala in Surah Fussilat, ayah 17. وَأَمَّا ثَمُودْ فَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ فَاسْتَحَبُّوا الْعَمَى عَلَى الْهُدَى. And as for Thamud, فَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ. Allah Ta'ala, He says, as for Thamud, then we what? هَدَيْنَاهُمْ. Guided them. What does this mean? Thamud was destroyed. How were they guided? Show them the guidance. Show them and explain to them the truth. Sent the messenger to them to enjoin the good upon them and to forbid the evil and to call them to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِلَى ثَمُودْ أَخَاهُمْ who? Who was sent to Thamud? Who was sent to Thamud? Who was sent to the people of Thamud? You better get this right. I'm going to give you to the end of the class. He said, but they preferred Ama all over Huda. They preferred Ama over al-Huda. They preferred what? Blindness, to stay blind and to act as if they don't see what is correct over what? Al-Huda. Over what? Al-Huda. وهذا يقوم به الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كما في قوله تعالى وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم. And this is what the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم came. No. Lut? لا. Go look it up. شعيب. وهذا يقوم به الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كما في قوله تعالى وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم. And this is what the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم established. As Allah Ta'ala, He says, indeed you are guiding, you are directing the people, you are giving the bayan والدلالة إلى صراط مستقيم, to the straight path. والنوع الثاني, and the second one, هدى with the meaning التوفيق والإلهام وهذا هو المنفي عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا يقدر عليه إلا الله وعليك السلام إلا الله تعالى كما في قوله تعالى إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. And the second meaning of huda is the huda with the meaning of التوفيق والإلهام, divine guidance. And say, may Allah Ta'ala give you tawfiq. Means what? Muwafaqa, give you, waffaqaka, gives you exactly, gives you what? The success and the ability to join between the dilala wal bayan wal amal. Gives you the success to combine between what you have learned to be correct and acting upon it. Tayyib? You understand? This is what tawfiq means. Giving you success to make sure that you gain that which is a benefit which you should know. You know it correctly, and once you know it correctly, you act upon it. You implement it. Right? And this is something that is negated from the Prophet ﷺ. This was not in the hands of the Prophet ﷺ. This was not in the hands of the Prophet ﷺ. No one controls this. No one has any authority over this. No one has any ability over this except Allah. Right? Indeed, you do not guide whom you love, as the verse was revealed about Abu Talib. Indeed, you do not guide whom you love, but it is Allah Ta'ala who guides whom He wills. So here, does what? Allah Ta'ala affirms in this verse, al-hidayah belongs to Allah. And He also affirms His what? Mashiyyah wal irada. His will, His desire, His will, and His intent. So the two meanings of huda, Alhamdulillah alladhi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa din al-haq. He sent him with the huda, He sent him with what? Ad-dilala wal bayan. He sent him with what? Ad-dilala wal bayan. He sent him with the beneficial knowledge that guides and makes clear truth from falsehood. Correct? We all agree, right? Tayyib. Second meaning is when Allah Ta'ala allows someone to accept that dilala wal bayan, accept the invitation, accept the knowledge that they receive, and act upon it. To accept the knowledge that they receive and to act upon that knowledge, right? Any questions? Inshallah ta'ala we'll stop. Ilham. With the meaning of inspiration. Right? With the meaning of inspiration. The meaning of guidance.
Would that include complete obedience, or like would you say taking the shahada? Or fulfilling all the obligations as well?
Tawfiq or hidayah?
Hidayah.
Would it consist of?
So taking the shahada is one thing, right? But then fulfilling all the obligations.
It's two parts. For example, being invited to Islam, to the truth, right? Invited to Islam, a person telling someone that this is the truth, only Allah Ta'ala deserves to be worshipped, to avoid shirk, to avoid giving anything in creation the right that only belongs to Allah Ta'ala, which is ibadah, and that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the final messenger, slave of Allah Ta'ala, servant of Allah Ta'ala, who was sent to relay this message and the finality of all of his brothers from amongst the prophets and messengers that came before him, of this tawheed. Person hears that. This is dilala wal bayan. You give them proofs if you're able to give them textual proofs that they will follow, or if you give them intellectual proofs or proofs around them in the creation. They accept this. Tayyib? That's hidayah by way of ad-dilala wal bayan. Now, if they say, I believe that's the truth, right? They hear it, and they say it's the truth. This is what? Been given hidayah. But until they say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasul, that's the second type. That is only in the hands of Allah Ta'ala. The person submitting and bearing witness to the testification of la ilaha illallah, we don't have control over that, no matter how hard we try. People accept and some people reject. Even though some people have said that this I believe what you said to be correct, but I'm not ready yet. It's no tawfiq. It's no tawfiq. Or you tell a person, brother, do not shave your beard. Prophet ﷺ prohibited us from this. Hadith, authentic, here. Right? Trim the mustache, let the beard go. Authentic hadith. You do know that this is authentic hadith. Yes, you believe, yes, the Messenger of Allah came with blah, 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 but he keeps shaving. Now you've been given the tawfiq to do what? To implement that command or to stay away from that prohibition. No? And any other thing, right? Any other thing in which a person, the truth comes to them, the dilala wal bayan, he said what? وَأَمَّا ثَمُودْ فَهَدَيْنَاهُم. They had a prophet sent to them. Who was he? وَإِلَى ثَمُودَ أَخَاهُمْ صَالِحًا قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَهٍ غَيْرُهُ. Yeah, you said a lot of things. You said Shud, you said Shu'aib, you said, right? No. So, what is more better than a da'i, than a prophet? And they rejected him. Who has more of a truth than a prophet or messenger? They rejected him. Right? So he wasn't given the tawfiq. فَاسْتَحَبُّوا عَمَى عَلَى الْهُدَى. They preferred to what? Stay blind, dumb, right, and arrogant over the huda that they were given. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.